Illegal immigrants released by the Obama administration are responsible for over 100 murders. That is according to newly released government data. Between 2010 and 2014, 121 immigrants who were detained and eventually released by Immigration and Customs Enforcement went on to commit, quote, homicide-related offenses. And that's where we'll start this roundtable. And with us now, Dave Aronberg, former state senator of Florida and current Palm Beach County state attorney. Good to see you. Also, Javier Manjarres, editor of shark-tank.com, also author of the book Brown People, appropriate enough because we're going to talk about Rachel Dolezal and a brown crayon as well. Dave, I want to ask you this question because we look at this. This is very shocking information here. I know this dates back to a 2001 Supreme Court case, but is there reason to be concerned because last year we saw this surge of illegal immigrants across the border here. Now we're hearing about 121 immigrants tied to these homicide-related offenses. In your daily work, have you seen any increase into crimes and violent crimes committed by illegal immigrants?
No, we haven't seen it. In fact, the crime rate overall has gone down, and in Florida it's at a 40-year low. The problem of illegal immigrants committing crimes has been around for as long as I can remember. It's been around when there's a Republican president, a Democratic president. Congress has tried to pass a comprehensive immigration bill and it's failed. And so this is a problem that's just, it's kind of tiring because you hear these awful stories and yet Congress refuses to do anything about it. And you can't put it all in the Obama administration because it does stem in large part to a 2001 Supreme Court ruling that had nothing to do with President Obama. So yeah, give his administration the share of the blame, but let's not pretend that it started with President Obama.
Well, Javier, let's look at Congress because the Senate did pass the comprehensive immigration reform bill. The House did not choose to pass that bill. Is it really Congress's fault?
Well, you know what, you can point the blame at anyone, but again, we're looking at these 121 murders or these suspects. They were released under the Obama administration. You know, again, Dave is right. It's not completely the Obama administration because it stems back from 2001, but how many other crimes were committed aside from the 121 murders? You know, this is, look, I say this and I'll say it again, you know, I think this is President Obama's Mariel boat lift. Cuba, Castro released all these criminals into the U.S., committed all kinds of heinous crimes, including murders. Look at what Obama did. His administration released a lot of these immigrants, including the ones we just mentioned, into the U.S. illegally, and they committed crimes.
But we look at this Supreme Court case from 2001, Zadvadayas, I guess, versus Davis, v. Davis. That says that an illegal immigrant cannot be held in or detained for longer than 6 months here. Is it time to, I mean, the Supreme Court has the final rule. You say it's time for Congress to come in behind that now and change things.
Yeah, they need to rework the law to make it palatable to the Supreme Court because that Supreme Court case has resulted in, according to the statistics I've seen, thousands of illegal immigrants with criminal records to be released into the general population because they're released if the country that they're from won't take them. So if they're about to be deported and the country they're from says no, then they get released into general population of the United States. And that to me can't be anything that Congress ever envisioned. So Congress needs to readdress this issue.
Supreme Court or not, Javier, does this impact when you hear about 121 illegals tied to homicide-related offenses that cannot bode well for Jeb Bush?
No, not or anyone. But look, why not enforce existing laws? You know, these illegals that have been arrested are in jail. Why release them if they've committed these crimes? I mean, just because there's an overpopulation in the criminal court system or in the prisons, it's ridiculous.
But Dave, do you find that even though someone might be tried and convicted of a crime, an illegal alien in this country, oftentimes they face deportation at the moment they were released? Do they then come back into this country and recommit crimes?
You know, it's hard to say. I don't know if there's statistics. I haven't seen those statistics.
Because you wonder as an American taxpayer, is it worth incarcerating an illegal immigrant in an American prison or just send them back?
Well, if someone commits a crime where there is a victim, the victim will say, hold on, this person destroyed my family and now you're sending them back home. That's not enough. They need to be incarcerated and then sent back home. This Supreme Court decision applies to people who've also, whether they've been incarcerated or not, and that's why it's so broad sweeping, and a lot of people don't even know about it. And it's been here since 2001.
All right, well, we'll talk a little bit more about Jeb Bush, but Javier, I wanted to give you the last word here.
Well, you know what? How about enforcing the laws? And look, again, if you're a criminal, whether you're here illegally or not, and you commit a crime like murder, I mean, listen, I'm all for bringing back old Sparky, and they need to face a consequence there, regardless if they get shipped back or not. Look, I've known people that have been shipped back to other countries because they committed less crimes than the murders we mentioned. So why not ship them all back, regardless of what their countries say?
So you advocate for that, and do not hold them in American. Basically, send them back on a plane, and if
they committed crimes, they should pay for the crimes here. But they're here illegally. Hold them until they can be shipped back.
All right, well, this issue of immigration keeps coming up. We're going to talk about Jeb Bush. Real quickly, guys, we got less than a minute left to go. I want to get a little primer. Your take on the Donald Trump announcement this morning.
Donald Trump is so interesting to listen to, and I think he'll make for a raucous debate on the Republican side. And I think the Republican leaders have to be scared out of their minds to have Donald Trump, who doesn't shy away from taking shots at other Republicans, from being part of those debates.
Dave, you're fired. No, but seriously, you know, I think Donald Trump, if he gets a little steam behind him and he doesn't look like he's going to win the primary, I think he'll run as an independent. He could, and then we'll see Hillary Clinton be crowned as next president.
Crowned. Coronation. Javier.
Elected.
All right, elected. That's right. That's what it's actually going to be. When we come back, we'll have part 2 of our roundtable. Dave Aronberg's going to stick around with us, and so is Javier. All right, welcome back to the roundtable. Dave Aronberg, former Florida state senator. Got to work on that a little bit. Currently the state attorney in Palm Beach County, and Javier Manjarres, editor of shark-tank.com. Dave, you served with Governor Bush while he was in Tallahassee as the governor. We talk a lot about his moderate appeal here, but you will argue that he is very much a conservative.
Yeah, no one who's ever served with Governor Bush would ever label him a moderate. He was very conservative as a governor. The difference is that the Republican Party has shifted farther to the right, and so he looks like a moderate, but he hasn't changed. He's a conservative. And when I worked with him, he didn't really like to deal with the legislature much. He didn't need Democrats because he had a large majority of Republicans in the legislature. He was a policy wonk, smart, well-read, not a people person. The opposite of his successor, Republican governor, then turned independent, then turned Democrat,
right.
Charlie
Hard
Crist.
to keep track sometimes. Now, we also saw a picture right there of Jeb shaking hands with Marco Rubio. You served with Marco as well when he was a Florida Speaker of the House. And you say as a Democrat, you're actually more concerned about a GOP-nominated Marco Rubio than a GOP-nominated Jeb Bush.
Oh, yeah. Talk to most Democrats. We'll tell you the same thing, that we worry more about a general election against Marco Rubio, who the contrast between him and more the establishment candidate of Hillary Clinton would be stark, as opposed to another Bush v. Clinton race. In fact, I think Hillary Clinton looks like the fresher candidate as compared to another Bush who was just, another Bush? Oh, yeah.
Hillary Clinton fresher than Jeb Bush.
Because
but you see the way Jeb ran up on the stage yesterday?
Yes.
All the weight he's lost, his energy.
By the way, he looked great. He really did. But and the reason why I say fresher candidate is that she would become the first woman president in the history of this country, and that to me is something fresh.
And she also, I think she said, the youngest woman president in history. I mean, we were talking yesterday about the big endorsements that Jeb picked up, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen and Diaz-Balart, Carlos Curbelo. That was expected. But you're saying don't cry for Marco Rubio. He's going to have plenty of backers.
I think he's going to be fine. Look, in Florida alone, I know that he's friends with Tom Rooney's of the world. Tom Rooney supports Congressman Tom Rooney supports Marco. People like DeSantis or even Miller, who won't come out openly to say it because they have their own race. They're going to look to replace Marco in the Senate. They're not going to come out, and they don't want to alienate the Bush supporters in the state. They need all their votes. But look, I don't see more conservatives like those. Even the Ted Cruz, if and when it comes to that around the country, they're going to support Marco. The conservatives. Endorsements aside, I don't think Marco has a problem. I don't think he needs endorsements.
All right. Well, let's leave that conversation there because we want to talk to you, Javi, while we have you here, since you wrote the book on brown people. And Rachel Dolezal, all right, she's the former NAACP leader, claiming to be biracial for years. This is what her parents had to say, though, last night on Fox News' The Kelly File.
Do you think she's pathological?
I think Rachel has some very serious issues, yes.
That's one way of phrasing it there. But when you see somebody like this trying to claim that she identifies as black, does this open a whole bunch of doors for where people can go in their lives? I mean,
people can do whatever they want. I mean,
that's apparently the case.
Exactly. She can say, look at Bruce Jenner. He
identifies
more with a woman.
I don't know about
I'm not saying she's like him, but the thing is, look, I know people that identify more with Hispanics. They grew up maybe with Hispanics or blacks. But again, the issue I have with her, I think all of us do, is the fact that she kind of sold herself as being black, that biracial, when she really wasn't. Maybe she was down for their issues, but fine. But don't say you're black when you're not really black. You know.
Now, apparently, she used her race, claiming she was black, to maybe get ahead certain advantages. Anything that could raise to the level of illegality there, Dave?
If she lied to Howard University to get a minority scholarship, then that could be some level of fraud, whether misdemeanor, felony, depends on the facts and the amount that she would have gained improperly. But just the whole thing it's really disturbing because when she was at Howard, she apparently sued Howard for racial discrimination because she was white.
Yeah, we heard that.
And while she was on a scholarship for minorities, and now is saying that she is black and showed pictures of her father who wasn't really her father, who was an African American man. So this whole thing is really disturbing.
And you make the Bruce Jenner, or I should say Caitlyn Jenner comparison here, but I think these are apples and oranges because he has come out saying he was living a lie. That was his own choice, basically. Here she is being outed by her parents, and it does raise a lot of red flags.
She is living a lie. I mean,
well, it does raise a lot of red flags, I think, when your own family members are the one calling you a fraud.
Well, I'm still waiting for Al Sharpton to weigh in on this one to see whatever.
Really, you need Al Sharpton's
I think we need his
approval?
input here because he is the person who makes all these decisions and is the strongest advocate for, I guess, the black race. So we'll see what he says.
I'm not touching that.
You're not touching that. All right.
Dave, you're fired.
All right.
Previous segment joke. Just so.
Previous segment
Yes.
joke, but it's called, what do they call it? The callback? When you do the joke again?
Right.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us. Dave Aronberg, former state senator for Florida, also currently the current Palm Beach County state attorney. Javier Manjarres, editor of shark-tank.com and author of the book Brown People. Javi, where can folks get that book if they want to get a copy?
You can go to brownpeople.org.
brownpeople.org. Maybe we'll find Rachel Dozar there in her brown crown. More coming up here. Make sure you stay tuned. We're going to take a look at the global headlines coming up in just a bit. Also, we'll be back with the top of the hour with more of your top of the hour headlines right after this.